It's like our own response to the God who is there for us to provide, to guide, and to protect. So these two, very essential, that whoever that makes love to be part of his flock, you have a duty and responsibility to listen, to hear. And what it means to listen or to hear is to heed to all his teachings, to listen to everything that Christ teaches. Even when they are comfortable for us, even when they are not palatable. But since it is the gospel, then we have the duty and responsibility to listen. So that is why he said, my own listens to me. Then the other part of our responsibility towards our Christ, who is our shepherd, that is the number 2, is when you hear, then you follow. Because it is one thing to listen, to hear, and never follow, or refusing to follow. So you may listen even very well. It's like the story of the story we hear in the gospel of the sower. You may listen and receive the word even with attention, with joy, with determination to carry it out. But something may happen along the way. You may not be able. So the next thing is for us to follow him. And why must we follow? Christ said we have to follow him because he will lead to the place he will provide for us. He will lead to the place where there is green and pasture. He will lead to the place where there is restful water. Because we trust him. And by saying we have to follow, even from the gospel of today, he gave us a model of leadership. Because when we talk about shepherding also, we are simply talking about leadership in another language or word, leadership. He gave us a model when he said you have to follow. Because in the gospel of today, he says that the good shepherd goes before the flock, and the flock will do what? Will follow. That is a very wonderful model for leadership. A leader does not lead from behind. Or basically, in the church, a leader, they lead from front. He said, the shepherd goes before, a model for leadership, and not from behind. And that is also part of the problem we have, in various groups. We may see ourselves, even in the families, in the church, in the society. And a leader leading from the front will mean leading by example. Example. That is the simple meaning. So our Lord Jesus Christ is telling us, you listen to him, you follow him. You follow him. Follow him faithfully because we trust. We believe that he will lead us to the right place. Because he said it himself toward the end of the gospel of today. He said, because I have come so that they may have life and have it to the fullest, abundantly. And he's the only one who is able to live for us to have, that life. So today, for me, the celebration of today, there are two ways. Drawing our attention to Christ. These are good shepherd, and all the things are just enumerated for which we should know Christ for. And also our own side, as followers, as listeners, that must follow Christ. And looking at our own side, I'll give you some little background of the gospel of today. During the biblical time in Palestine, there used to be many shepherds, each one having his own or her own flock. And what they will usually do is at the end of each day, after grazing their flock, they will normally share a pen by pen, that is noun. Pen has two meanings as a noun. Pen, or pen, an enclosure where animals are kept, for the night. So they will usually share, a pen. Shepherds from different areas after the grazing, they will bring their own flock into that particular enclosure for the night. So that in the morning, each shepherd will come back to call upon his or her own flock for the day's activity of grazing them once again. And Christ is saying, look, I am the gate through which each of these flock will enter into the pen and to wait till the following morning. And usually in the morning, each shepherd will come back and begin to beg on his own flock to come out and follow him. That is exactly what Christ is saying, that the flock will listen to the voice of their shepherd and they will follow. They will come out and follow. And they will never follow a stranger. If a different person, no matter how well you dress, like their own shepherd comes and begin to shout, follow me. It reminds me of a story also around this. How a visitor went to Palestine, very close to Mount Tabor. And there he saw, shepherds taking their flock into the pen at the end of the day's job. And in the morning, he also watched them, each one coming to call upon his flock. And they will normally call out the flock by using the Arabic, words. Mana will mean follow me. And whenever the flock hear manna, if it is the voice of their own shepherd, they will simply come out and follow and go out from the pen. Then this visitor wanted to try, and he dressed like these shepherds and also put on the turban to resemble a true shepherd. And he tried it by shouting manna. He continued to shout all through the day. None of the sheep listened, because they did not recognize the voice of this man, because he's a stranger. But later, this visitor asked, one of the shepherds, is there ever a time any of these your sheep will listen to a stranger and follow? And the shepherd said yes, that there are moments. And he asked, which moments? He said, whenever any of them is sick, he can't listen to any voice and begin to follow. And this story is like, what is happening in our world today, particularly in Nigeria. Because when we talk about, shepherding, we are simply talking about, leadership. We begin to ask ourselves, what is leadership like in our country today? Can we qualify us leaders? Leaders at various levels. Call it leaders in our families, because in our families, father, mother, children, you are also a shepherd, you're a leader. What is leadership like in our various families? Look, leadership is not just, a title, or shepherding is not just a title. It is a responsibility. It is a responsibility. So that one may begin to ask, what is shepherding, leadership, or performing our duties in our various places we have seen ourselves like. In the family, in the church, in the society, and even more for our politicians. What is leadership like? As I said, it's not just a title. It is a call to duty. A shepherd is called to perform his function very well. So that is why in the gospel of today, Christ said, I am the gate. I am the means through which the flock will enter into the enclosure, into the pen. I am the gatekeeper. I keep the gate. It's like saying I'm the gate man. Whoever that will want to enter will have to enter through him, because he is the gate. And he said that those who are not true shepherds, that they will usually climb over the fence to enter into the pen or the enclosure. And he said again in the gospel of today, not me, Christ said that such people, they only come to steal, number one. Number two, to kill. Number three, to do what? To destroy. So that if anyone claims to be a leader, a shepherd, and you wouldn't enter through the door, which is Christ himself, and you decide to jump in from somewhere else, either a window or whatever, or you broke any of the fences and jumped in, he said such a person is a thief.